It would be good if I was humming like a comeback song. That would have been probably appropriate.
It's a small world after all. That's
Oh, why that's in
upbeat, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Where the hell have you been, Frank? It's been a week and a half. I've been waiting.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I blame me. It's fine.
Oh my goodness, we haven't been here for a while, so we have a lot to talk about and a lot to catch up on, including the big celebration between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. He's going back to the Super Bowl. She's going with him. I don't know if everybody's excited about that.
I mean, it's cool. I don't care who's in the Super Bowl, to be honest. It's not the Jets. I really don't care.
Yeah, you're going to be waiting a while, my friend, if that's what you're waiting.
Exactly.
I got news for you. All right, Deepseek, China's new AI is causing quite a stir, quite a crazy bit of controversy today. And so, of course, we'll delve into that. The stock market basically tanked.
I got to tell you, though, it's a little weird that what's been happening over the past week and a half is not on this rundown.
What's been happening over the past week? I don't know. I've been away from everything. I don't know what's happening.
You've been in the country, though. We got a new president.
Well, Florida. So technically, it's a different.
Yeah, but still.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about.
I'm not complaining. I'm just surprised it's not on the list.
Yeah, well, we have time to get into other assorted topics and such. That's for sure. We'll definitely.
Okay. Complete disaster. There you go. There's the summary.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I thought this was like, a bit more entertaining stuff. Bill Burr slamming Howie.
I'm here for it.
We'll talk about
Why
that.
did he do that? Oh, that's
yeah. We'll talk about where we were. I'll fill everybody in on what happened. We, of course, have the Golden AOA Hole Awards to talk about and other sort of topics and such. If Frank has something to say about the current administration, I was going to drop in the Fetterman thing. I thought that was kind of an interesting topic from today, so we could visit that and some other stuff. We'll do it all.
All right.
We never had a plan before. Why start now?
I don't know.
But let's start now. New year, new you. Is that what?
I thought something. We'd have some kind of structure.
Yeah. It is Laura. We missed you as well.
Oh.
Christella, TD. Good to see everybody. Jamie, how are you? Sarah, it is so nice to be back. It's very, very nice to be back. Yeah.
Helena, welcome.
Yes. Helena just said Florida, so I don't know how to take that.
It's a Taylor Swift song.
That's true. Taylor Swift, Frankie C, going back to the Super Bowl. Is this her third Super Bowl in a row? I can't remember. Was she with Travis during the first Super Bowl? She may not have been.
I think this was number one. This is number two. This is going to be number two.
Yeah, this is number two. She's 2-0. Kansas City is also 2-0. Well, I shouldn't say that. She's 1-0. Kansas City.
Didn't they win?
2-0. They won the championship game yesterday, so they're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. It'll be Chiefs, Eagles, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought 2-0 was a losing record. That's the win. They're winning.
Yeah, 2-0 is good. 0-2 is bad.
0-2 is bad.
The Philadelphia Eagles, who I believe it was the Philadelphia mayor just a couple of days ago, misspelled Eagles when doing their chant. I don't know if you caught that, but she was like,
perfect.
Let's get an Eagles chant. She goes, let's go. Give me an E. Give me an L. Give me a G. We're off the rails already. So people were making like Eagles cupcakes spelled ELGLES or however the hell she spelled it. Which I thought was hilarious.
Publicity, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess.
And now it's spawning all new products, I guess.
Oh, they were selling shirts at the stadium on Sunday.
Hey, new merchandise. People are cleaning up because of this a mess up.
Yeah, we live in a new world. You fuck up something, all of a sudden there's a whole merch line designed around it. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. They'll turn whatever garbage into a treasure. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, there's that whole meme thing. I don't know if you've ever seen that HODL, HODLE. For the longest time, I didn't know what the hell it meant. It meant hold. Somebody just went to type hold and typed HODL, HODL, instead of HOLD. And that's a thing now. So every time you see people talking about meme coins and cryptocurrency, they're like, HODL, everybody, HODL. It just means hold. It's just, we've reached a new level of stupidity.
We've gotten so boring as a society. Remember when we were flipping bottles and hoping it landed straight up because that's what I don't understand.
It's a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a journey.
ridiculous.
You ever feel like your generation, our generation, is the generation that's going to ruin everything for everybody? Because I'm starting to feel like,
Nah, the one above us.
yeah, they really fucked everything up, though, didn't they? Those baby boomers. What a nightmare. They stink. Terrible.
They're just ruining the ones in government anyway.
They
I don't
just
want to get in. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. We'll be here forever.
yeah, but just let's keep it on the generation. They're like sponges. They just sucked it all up. They're just awfulness.
Right?
All rolled up together. I mean, I don't know if our generation's much better, but
I feel like every generation we're like, this is gonna be the one, and then we're like, I don't know.
it's always
Maybe the next one. The next one's gonna get it.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Travis and Taylor. She was all over the post-game celebration. Credit, I think it was CBS. The game was on CBS. They didn't really show her a lot in the stands, which was nice. A nice change of pace. Because you don't want to harp on this too much. Because my overall theme for this, Frankie C, is: are we at the tipping point with Taylor and Travis? I feel like we're getting to an area now where even the people that were really digging this relationship and happy to support it are kind of like, this is getting a little tired now.
Well, I think the Super Bowl is probably going to pump some air into it again. I think it's going to just revive it. And then who knows what will happen after that? I mean, is she going to come out with a new album? Is he going to let her come out with a new album? I don't know what he's going to do, but she's going to do some stuff. He plays football. What else does he do? Does he have a podcast?
He's got a podcast now with his brother, who's a bit more the personality out of the two of them, to be totally honest.
Yeah, but isn't he like a mess?
The brother?
Yeah, doesn't he like yell racist stuff and be nuts? I don't know if that's a real thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong.
No. Somebody yelled something. Maybe you're confusing it. Somebody yelled. I can't remember if it was racist or homophobic or whatever it was.
Something. All right. Maybe I'm confusing.
Yeah, no, he slammed their phone down on the ground, and then he got in trouble for being a little aggressive there. But he's not that I'm aware of, has caught any flack for any sort of comments.
Well, then I apologize.
He likes to get hammered and pull his shirt off a lot. That doesn't make him a
nothing wrong with that.
No, it just makes him a Burke Kreischer kind of a guy. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all that is. This is perfectly normal behavior, I guess.
Exactly.
What was I going to say? But yeah, the Jason Kelsey, who was on the Eagles or the Elgles, much more warm on that podcast. I've not listened to the podcast, but I did watch like 4 clips because they had Bill Murray on a couple of episodes ago, and I fucking love Bill Murray, so that was kind of fun.
That's a good get.
It's a great get, but it kind of like this gets me angry. And listen, you could say I'm jealous. Certainly, they've risen to fame in the podcasting world because of her audience, right? But I don't begrudge them, but it drives me crazy when somebody gets that attention too fast and doesn't have the work ethic of what like a good host is underneath them. Like Haktua, she's like the same thing. So you watch that interview and I'm watching it and I go, oh God, I would have taken this 3 other different directions than the one that they're going in. They're just wasting Bill Murray's time. And you got Bill Murray, like you got to fucking bring it, like ask good questions,
Yeah. You gotta know what you're talking about. You gotta do a lot of prep. You gotta do your homework.
Like that's one thing I'll say about Howard Stern still to this day. That motherfucker does homework. Like
he knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for decades.
He knows how to keep people's interest. He knows how to ask the right questions, what not to ask, what not to get stuck in, when to cut people. He's just great at it. He really is. So that's kind of tragic to see them flounder a guest like Bill Murray. But anyway, they celebrated a big Kansas City win, which is another problem here, Frank, is that the theory is that the NFL has been helping the Kansas City Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl because they haven't been that great this year, not as good of a team as they've had in the past. And obviously a Super Bowl with Taylor Swift in the audience is going to be much more, much more highly rated than without her. So Although I can make an argument that Buffalo really did cough up that game by making some bad play calls in some key situations. There was a couple of calls that the ref made, really just one call on a 4th down play where it was like, did they give this to the Chiefs because they want to see, Taylor in the Super Bowl?
So if hypothetically that theory is correct, when did that kick in? During the season, during the playoffs, or this was the last game?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because sports fans in general could be crying babies. People who don't like the Kansas City Chiefs are the biggest crybabies out of them all.
Okay. I'm indifferent. I don't care who wins, the Eagles, the Chiefs. It doesn't really affect me in any way. I'm not a fan of either. So
you're like me. You just hope that there's good snacks that day. That's the
good
big
snacks. Yeah, just chilling out. Hope the commercials are funny. That's pretty much it.
I'm not holding out a lot of hope for those commercials. But speaking of funny, let's introduce the funniest person on the podcast. That's Jay Sabs. Welcome back to the podcast, Jay Sabs.
What? Thank you. You too. Well, of course, you come back and I'm not feeling great. So thanks. I think that you did this on purpose.
I did have a touch of COVID when I got back on the plane from Florida. Brought that. It's the Florida kind though, so you're gonna enjoy it.
Oh, so
that's potent.
Yeah,
it's not really real. Just like the other kind.
No, it's real. In fact, if you start to feel like in a couple of days you want to sleep with other couples, then you really got the Florida one.
Oh,
right.
That's pineapple COVID.
Yeah, in their pineapple, upside down pineapple COVID.
Yeah,
it's the newest strain.
That's the street term for it.
So I've had COVID for the past 10 years.
If you, but if you find yourself ordering loofahs in different colors from Amazon tonight, again, then you got this particular strain.
That's the sign. Those are the the symptoms.
If you tell the roommate, go hang this on the antenna on the car.
So wait, you were sick on your way back too?
No, I was just kidding. I was just trying to make a joke.
So you're sick, Jason? What do you have?
Yeah, I haven't seen you since I got back, Janine. So that just
right. Well, I have 2 kids in elementary school, so
that's the worst. Yeah,
and I work in a school, so
you got like a cold or something.
It feels like allergies because my nose is burning, and my nose only burns like this when I have allergies, so it's weird.
Allergies, 2 kids in school. She works in a school. It's a miracle she's alive, to be honest.
I mean, let's be honest.
It's a lot of things working against you.
It's a miracle you're not one of those walking mushrooms from This Is It or That's All of Us. What the hell is that show on HBO?
Oh, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. I mean, that's what you should. That's how you should look at this point. All the infections and whatever.
Look at Brian. Where's that beautiful face, Jay Sabs?
I mean, that's really nice, but he must be sick too.
Yeah. Janine refuses to show her face anymore. It's a lot of work to put the beauty together,
It is. Wow, thanks.
And no, I get it. I think you look great all the time. I'm just saying I know how women could look, and it could be
Anthony bringing the stereotypes.
Yeah,
you women and your makeup and you're taking forever to get ready.
I'm just saying, my wife has looked at me and go, God, I look like shit today. I'm like, I hate to tell you, this is the hottest you've ever looked. I'm like, I'm sorry, but
you look the same, basically.
And then she'll say shit like this. Don't you see this fucking hair that won't go with the rest of them? And I'm like, I didn't notice. I think you still look fine.
You just got to go, look at this.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, they don't get it. Our standards are different.
Yes, I'll just stand next to you and you'll glow.
Yeah. Well, this is good. I'm glad Jay Sebs is here because I feel like she's, Joe, every woman, she represents the whole country of women.
Well, thank you.
And I want to know from your perspective, are you sick of the Travis Taylor relationship? Because the football fans, I feel like you're still on it.
Well, I mean, I wasn't really that excited about it to begin with, but I did read that people think the Bills should have won. There was a play that was miscalled,
Yeah, that's what we were just talking
they did
about.
it on purpose, so they
Was it a game-changing play? Was it
Yes.
that?
Okay, here's
It
what
was,
happened.
okay.
I'm gonna summarize it for everybody, football fans, non-football fans. There was at least 4 times in that game yesterday where they had to gain 1 yard to continue the drive.
Right.
Okay, to keep going, to get a first down. All 4 times they called the same fucking play.
Yeah.
All 4 times they didn't get a yard. The one time towards the very end of the game, it was super close on whether or not he got the yard or not, and the referees placed the football behind the line that they were trying to hit. So you could make an argument that the referees got it wrong on that one particular play, but that was 1 out of 4 plays where they couldn't convert a first down.
Yeah, so I guess
Aren't there challenges? Can't the coaches?
They did. They reviewed it.
Yeah.
The problem is the football has to break the plane. So you know the lines on the field. Picture an imaginary line going straight up to the top of the roof of the stadium. They just have to break that plane. When the guy's holding the football like this, and you can only like look at it from angles that obviously from his back angle you can't see where the ball is. From the front angle, there were other players there trying to tackle him, so it's kind of hard to see where the ball actually was and if he did indeed break the plane or not. It was a hard call. I thought they placed it a little bit farther back than they should have. But again, stop fucking calling that play. Everybody knew you were going to run the play. It was your 4th time, and you didn't get it through the other 3 times.
You know what I think is very weird? The fact that the foot can break the plane, but the head can't.
No, the football.
No, but like if the foot steps out of bounds or steps into the end zone,
right,
2 feet, it's a touchdown, right?
No, the football. I think that the football now has to break the plane no matter what. Touchdowns outside
out of bounds. So if your 2 feet go out of bounds, but the football is inbounds.
Oh, so you're correct. If your 2 feet are inbounds and you catch the football technically outside of that plane, you're still
and vice versa. If your feet are out of bounds,
correct.
You catch the football inbounds.
You're correct.
You're out of bounds.
Yes,
but your head doesn't break the plane.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I feel like it should. No,
you got a point. You got a point.
I feel like if you're holding the ball, any part of your body breaks the plane should be
break
good. The plane.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have called that fucking play to begin with. I mean, it's ridiculous. You just you don't you keep falling short, and then what do you expect? So. And there was a big drop pass, like one of the Bills receivers, the ball went in and out of his hands, would have been a first down. They would have kept going. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh, the refs really, but at the same time,
we go through this every year though.
Basically.
We blame the refs every year. Go, oh, it's fixed. Maybe just the refs are, they're how many refs are there on the field?
There's like 15.
Oh, is there really 15?
Yeah, there's line judges, there's referee, there's one ref, there's umpire. It's weird. There's a lot of people.
I thought there was like a handful.
There's a lot. Maybe it's 8 or something. There's a lot. But the point is that people have been screaming about the NFL being fixed for a long time. Everybody's got these. We talked about these conspiracy theories. They come out with the Super Bowl logo, and it has the 2 colors of the teams that they say are going to be in it. Apparently. That's the case this time around too, but it's like it's red and green, and there's like it's like they're the most popular colors. There's not that many.
Yeah, it's Roy G. Biv. You only got a few to pick from.
Yeah, most of the teams are either red, green, blue. There's not a lot of fucking purple and shit out there. But anyway, that's the story behind that, and so people are going to be up in arms over it. I don't think that they forced this one. They might have gotten away with that call. There's no doubt that they get a little bit of a pass. I don't know if it's because of Taylor or if it's just because, what's his name? Mahomes is so good. I'm not really entirely sure, but they rented a whole fucking restaurant last night in Kansas City and like blew it up. Like food, sushi. By the way, the finest establishments in Kansas City, would you trust sushi from a landlocked state like Kansas? That's a tough call.
That is a tough call. I don't know. Good question.
I got a little uncomfortable with that. Like they had fried oysters. There was a lot of seafood on the menu for a place that's at least a day away from a body of water.
Yeah, how are they? I mean, are they flying that fish in?
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, everybody said they were very chummy and very lovey around each other. They're both 35. You know, obviously, everybody feels like their marriage is imminent. There was some breakup rumors not that long ago, but it's kind of hard to keep those going with how they were, you know, basically inseparable at this restaurant in Kansas City, which flies in lots of sushi, apparently.
Right.
And maybe they have, I don't know, but maybe aren't there like farms that, like salmon farms and all that stuff that they have out there? I don't know if they do, but I feel like those exist somewhere.
Here's what they had.
A salmon farm. What?
They had sliders, Wagyu skewers, fried oysters, lots of different types of sushi, king crab dynamite roll, triple threat sushi roll, assorted types of nigiri, braised and blue pizza. I don't know what the hell that is.
What?
And more. What's braised and blue pizza? I don't know.
Braised and blue?
Yeah, it says braised and blue pizza.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I wouldn't try.
Oh, here's a good point. Would you have sushi in Vegas?
Yeah.
That's an extraordinarily landlocked state.
It is, but on the other hand, it's a culinary destination. Lots of chefs go and open up places there. There's lots of people in that city. And to believe it's a bigger...
The city, especially around this time of year, I'm sure it's got a good number of people going there. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I think Vegas. Plus, Vegas is what, a 4-hour drive from Los Angeles?
Number one.
Yes.
You know, I think Janine has held an Asian man captured. I'm not. Did you hear that?
My friend just sent me something.
I heard somebody with an Asian accent, like "Help me, Obi-Wan," and then just pull it back.
It's ladyboys in Thailand wearing these bathing suits, and you could see their package, but they're really small.
What's a ladyboy? A guy who dressed up as a girl?
Oh wait, whoa. Hold on a minute. Hold on. You've never heard of ladyboys in Thailand?
No. I don't travel to Thailand.
Come on, are you serious?
Thai is about as into the Thailand culture as I get.
Ask your wife right now if she knows what ladyboys are.
Okay.
And where they're from. Is she right next to you?
No. We could ask the chat. We could ask the chat if they've heard of a ladyboy before, because you said that with a very specific kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Why is your friend sending you this?
She's currently holding 3 ladyboys in her basement. Right?
I can't listen to it, but I.
Do you know how many times in a month Frank and I have a conversation? Go, should we call the cops on Janine just to do like a wellness check or something?
Just to clear out whatever's going on over there.
Yeah.
Right.
And start so she could start fresh from scratch.
Hold on, Cuddles is actually in the chat and is aware of ladyboys.
Thank you.
Matt is now searching for ladyboy. Careful, Matt, because those cookies could follow your searches around. You could be seeing some weird ads the next couple of days.
J-Sabs, blow me a kiss. No one will see. Will be our secret. Okay. What?
Where did you read? Oh, from Brian. Hold on, Brian. Was that from J-Sabs or a ladyboy? Let's clarify that. Let's see if we can get an answer on that. What happens in Bangkok State? What was the line from where did they go? Was it Bangkok where they went in the second
Yes.
Oh, Hangover?
The Hangover, yeah.
Was the second or the third one?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But weren't they like?
Oh yeah, don't you remember? And don't you remember what happens in it when he's with
first
the
one was
lady boy?
Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I do remember. First one's Vegas.
I don't remember which one's which in the second or third.
No, but it wasn't it like, oh, Bangkok has him now or something? Wasn't that like the line that they kept going through? Whenever somebody was missing, they were like, he belongs to Bangkok now or something like that. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but yeah.
Oh, I know. That was good. Yeah, what was it? Why can't we remember the There's only 3 of
Did
them.
they go back to Vegas?
And they went back to Vegas in the third one.
Oh,
Okay.
did they? Okay.
I don't remember the plot.
Why do
I feel
know
like
this?
John Goodman was in it, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, you're right. He might have been in it. Oh man, that's weird.
All right.
Anyway, here's the moral of the story. Easy with the sushi in Kansas City. I just don't know if I, can trust it fully.
You know what's weird? I have no idea who's playing the halftime show.
You've never heard of them before?
No, I just don't know who it is. I don't know the name at all. I don't know who. I can't remember who is it?
You literally don't know. You don't know who it is.
He doesn't know who it is.
I don't know who it's going to be at all. I don't. In other words, I haven't heard the name, or if I did, I forgot.
I want to say it's Travis Scott, right? It's not Travis Scott? No, it's not Travis Scott. It's They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us. Yeah, whoever Kendrick Lamar. Thank you, TD Freelancer.
Very good.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar is the halftime show?
Yeah. Kendrick Lamar. They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us. You know that song?
Mm-hmm.
Bum, 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 They Not Like Us. I think it's one of the songs nominated for Best Song in the Golden AOA Hall Awards, which we will go over.
I will have to listen.
Yeah, it's going to be good. In fact, let's do a little live read, readioski for the old Golden AOA Hall Awards. If you guys go on over to the website, anthonyonair.com, you can go down to the blog section. Boom, right there. We've got all of our categories, which we were going to do a lot more on this, but because we wound up missing like 3 weeks or however long we were gone for, we didn't have a chance to really get to most of it. But let me put that up on the screen for everybody.
Why does the time limit? Is this we're timing it with the Oscars or something?
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of what we decided to do this year. So if you pop on over to there, you can see all the categories. We got best movie, we got best streaming show, best comedy special, best album. There's Kendrick Lamar right there, GNX.
Oh, there you go.
And best song, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. Boom. So you can vote right now. Voting is open right now until we decide to close it.
They're Not Like Us.
And then
you know what's a really good movie? It's up for best animated picture at the Oscars. It's called Memoir of a Snail.
I heard about this movie. It's really good.
Don't tell me you watched it.
Yeah, you watched it.
You don't have any kids. Why do you torture yourself with these movies?
It's not a kids movie. Not a kids movie. It's really not a kids movie. It's like rated R.
Is it like? Yeah, I heard it's like Marcel the Shell. Like it's like for adults, kind of.
Yeah, it's stop motion claymation kind of. Yeah, animation, but it's really good. It's like heartwarming and pulls at the heartstrings, that kind of thing. It's sad, but it's a really good movie. I recommend.
This is a great question from Matt. When we announce the winners for the Golden A-Hole Awards, we are working on having Will Smith come and slap the shit out of Frank. So that'll be another reason to tune into that episode. Should be good.
Oh, you know what I heard about him today, which I did not like? I was mad that he said this. He said he was mad at Chris Rock for ruining his life.
Will Smith
did he say that?
You ruined your own life.
Did he say that? Come on.
We're going to have to check that. Is that what he said?
Yeah, some AI person wrote it. No, I'm just kidding.
AI person.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, he probably does think that way.
I bet you.
I don't know if he said that.
I'll say this: Chris Rock did not let him off the hook one iota.
Yeah, he did his stand-up. Half the stand-up was about it.
And he didn't talk about it until that stand-up special came out. So he really held Will Smith over the coals for.
He did.
He could have let him off a lot easier, I guess. So I could kind of see Will having that.
But feeling. No, come on.
I'm not saying I agree with it or he's justified. I'm saying people tend to blame everybody else for their problems. I could see that.
I slap you, you don't forgive me, and now it's your fault that I'm ruined. How do you not forgive me and ruin my life? What?
It's kind of a thing.
That's ridiculous.
But you can forgive him when he comes to slap you, because that's how we're going to keep the whole fire going.
You slap the shit out of it. If it boosts our ratings, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. It's going to be with his penis. I didn't tell you that part, but let's just go with it for now. We already bought his plane ticket.
Where was the podcast?
Can he say "Welcome to Earth" first?
Who?
No.
Will Smith.
Oh, is that
Come
like
on, you don't get that reference?
4th of July Independence Day thing?
Thank you.
Okay.
God, I hate you.
J Sabs, we have to go in order. We cannot get into where the podcast was just yet. We're just not ready for it yet.
Stop being a stickler for the rules.
Let's fill the people in on the Deepseek, because people probably don't even know what this is. So if you were unaware, Deepseek is a Chinese AI company that got unleashed today.
Oh yeah, I did hear about this.
And there was a 500 billion in market cap that from all the AI stocks that just right into the toilet. Like a lot of money was lost today before lunchtime. And that's all because of this DeepSeek, which is like China's version of ChatGPT. Only like ChatGPT has cost I don't even know, 100 million, 200 million to develop at this point. And supposedly DeepSeek was developed for $5 million. And
pretty good.
Yeah, the early return is DeepSeek is as good, if not better, than ChatGPT's current model or product, which is out there. Which is kind of amazing because ChatGPT just released this thing called Operator, which if you're unfamiliar with ChatGPT, you go in and you ask it a question, it'll give you an answer. And from version 1, which I was tinkering around with, to version 4, it has become amazing at what it could do. Now with this new Operator function, it can now surf the web and do things for you. So if you said to Operator, make me a reservation at a sushi restaurant in Kansas City, you can actually watch a web browser come up in the ChatGPT window and watch a mouse move around and click and find you the best. You could just say, give me a restaurant in Kansas City, and it'll go to Yelp or whatever, Google reviews. It'll find the best reviewed one. It'll find a time. If you say, I got 2 people coming between, Thursday and Saturday, find me a sushi restaurant, it'll find the best time, what's the most convenient for you. It'll go through the whole thing and make the reservation for you all on its own. You don't need to do a thing. It's pretty impressive.
How accurate are we talking? If you do that and then it makes your reservation,
So yeah, you make it. Yeah, all of a sudden you're in the wrong Kansas City.
You're in Thailand, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so
right.
I've seen it I've seen it a couple of demos of it. Most of the time, it just goes. There were some times where it would check back in with the person. It would say "Oh, do you want to do this or that?" And you give it an answer, and then it would just continue on its way. It's slow too. It's like watching a 4-year-old navigate a mouse on a screen and click. So it's a little slow going. But for the most part, it's pretty impressive. Again, with all these things, you're if this is the first version of Operator, what's version 5 going to be like?
Well, maybe they should have spent more than.
Never mind.
Well, this was Operator, not the.
Not DeepSeek. Yeah, not DeepSeek. No.
Okay, so what's with DeepSeek? Why is it just all right? It costs way less to make, but what?
Yeah.
What does it do?
Again, I haven't played around with DeepSeek yet, so I'm just telling you what is being talked about, and that's the fact that I think DeepSeek just took Frankie C out. See what's happening? Frankie C taken out by the DeepSeek people. Will never go. Oh, wait, hold on. He's back. Okay.
It was either the DeepSeek or me hitting a button on my phone. We're not sure which yet.
Let's say DeepSeek.
We'll look into it.
But yeah, they say it's as good or if not better than ChatGPT. And then here's the other problem. We just got over, nobody download TikTok because they're selling your information or they're giving your information to the Chinese government. And now here comes this Chinese company with probably an even more dangerous tool than any social media tool can be, is this AI, model. Because here's the thing, what people do with AI, they ask it questions and AI gives them information. But a lot of businesses and people are giving it a lot of information about their own personal lives or about their business. You know, there's businesses that upload like company documents that they don't let out, confidential stuff they'll put into ChatGPT to kind of help, ChatGPT have answers for things, So a lot of people will like upload their personal finances and ask ChatGPT what to do and all this and that. And the more info it has, the better it is. So they're giving a lot of their own personal information over to these AI models. And now here comes.
Then how are we going to trust any AI operating system? I mean, because AI works on information.
Right.
How will we know which one to be like, all right, this one will have my information? It's like they're all going to get your information. One of them is going to get your information if you want to go down the AI route.
Yeah.
Eventually, one of them is going to have to. You're going to have to sign up with one of them. I don't know how we tell the difference between which one's the best one and which one's not going to be sketchy and what. So.
And here's the bigger concern. There was a law. I think there was a law, or there was a whatever it was during the Biden administration, where they were like, "Hold on, we got to put some regulations in place here," because I don't know if they passed a law or if they were talking about passing a law, but they were like, "We got to put some regulations in place here because this can get out of control quickly." And this is the problem, because if we put our own restrictions on American companies developing AI software, we're leaving the door open for rival, enemy, hostile countries to develop their own. So when you're watching Terminator and you're like, how did they let it get to this? Like, this is how,
Yeah, they just countries just competing. No, we can make it better. We can make it better. And then they just out-compete each other. And then who makes it the best, quickest, but without, laws holding them down and restricting them.
Right.
And then it gets out of control.
And that's what people don't realize. And so I know, like, again, so I was in Florida. I was kind of away from the world, but I was hearing a lot about the inauguration, and there was a lot of outlets complaining about, the wealthy elites being together with government, and everybody was saying Zuckerberg and Elon and, all these people, the Google guys and Bezos, they were all there at the inauguration. And it's kind of like, I got news for everybody. I don't know if that's Trump's call or his chief of staff or whoever, Elon, whoever. Yeah. Those people all need to be in that room, because
the inauguration.
This is what I'm saying. If you let
it's
China,
a ceremony, they don't need to be at the ceremony.
Here's the thing: if you let China beat us to the punch on a better AI program, there's no stopping them. Same thing with Russia. Could be India, could be Greece, whoever it is. That's the next. Remember how all of a sudden the moon became so important and we had to beat the Russians to the moon? The AI is the new moon. AI is the new moon. I don't think it is,
because we've got it already. This is not once we hit the moon, winner, first one there's the winner. This is more of a gradual situation, because AI exists. We have it. It exists in iterations, and it comes out a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here. And it's not like first one to AI wins. It's already there. We've already kind of got it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like whoever's going to do it the best,
Yeah, then the next one's then someone's just gonna do it better. I feel like this one doesn't have like an end game. There's no, like, once this country does it the best, everybody else is trash. The next one's just going to come in and do it better, and then the next one's just going to do it better.
You have a point.
Like there's no end to it.
There might not be an end to it, but the thing is I think we need to be in the lead.
Oh, sure. I think we need to be definitely in the game. We need to be, technologically in the room. Absolutely. But I feel like government should, I feel like the elite, those billionaires should not be controlling the laws and the government, because that's
separate issue. I'm just saying.
Well, that's no. The issue is who should be in the room during the inauguration. That doesn't make any sense.
Separate issue. We need those people readily accessible at all times so that we are the world's leading performer in AI technology. So
I'm not saying they shouldn't have voices, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what happens when you want to do business with a company. You don't just do business with them. You invite them over. You flatter them. You give them the prestige of it all. So that's what that move was.
Take them to Knicks games.
Take them to a fucking Knicks game.
Traditionally, it's the politicians that sit back there, and they, and the senators and all that stuff. But they got
Fetterman with his. I got news for you. I fucking hate that Fetterman. Even though he did a thing on the View today, which I think was noble of him, he fucking showed up to the inauguration in a hoodie and gym shorts. I mean, this fucking guy,
that big guy, he went there like he was going to BJ's.
Yeah, can't you put a fucking suit on? I mean, for the love of God, I've criticized him for that before. He should be wearing,
huh?
He should be wearing a suit in that building. You want to go down to the gym and whatever and just be in a hoodie. Listen, Frank, you know this. I've strived to live a life where we can wear hoodies and pajama pants and make a living, right? That's basically my main motivation for
and Crocs.
And Crocs. I'm all
that's why you like him, because he has a closet full of Crocs.
I love it. I'm all for it. So I in one hand admire the man, but on the other hand, have a little respect for the thing. Wear a fucking outfit. You know what I'm saying? Put a goddamn shirt on and a tie. It won't kill you.
Yeah. What if this was his? I don't have respect for this thing.
He's the only guy who went down to Mar-a-Lago. He's the only Democrat I know that went down to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump, which I think is the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do.
No,
we gotta work. We gotta work with the other side. But anyway, let's just not get too far off of this DeepSeek thing. Scary world if China, Russia, India, Greece, Italy, could be fucking anybody. If anybody gets to that golden, goose before we can, it's a little harder to trust. I'd rather trust us and have us fuck it up than another country and it be out of our hands, because at least we'll have a shot at it. So that's something to keep in mind for people. It's like not just like our companies against each other; it's our companies against the world. So they talked about this huge investment into AI and building all these AI supercomputer plants and all that stuff. It's got to be done. Now's the time, because this shit is happening at a crazy fast rate, and somebody's going to make it to the top of that mountain. And Lord knows you don't want it to be another superpower. That would be really, really bad.
I'm telling you, it's just gonna be an endless race with this thing. It's gonna be, this country develops the robot that can do your laundry. Then this country comes out and goes, well, not only can it do your laundry, now we've made it so that it could clean your windows. And then the next country is going to upgrade it more. And then it's going to be upgraded more. And it's just going to be an endless cycle until we're going to have AI robots that look like people and you can't tell the difference. And it's going to be then, and those will get upgraded, and those will get upgraded. And it's just not going to stop.
And then we won't need the people anymore. I think you're right. I equated to like social media. Like Facebook certainly wasn't the first, but they made such a technological leap in how social media was done, and they're still not the best right now, but they're still in it. They bought Instagram to stay young. That company is like, they're holding on to it. They're trying not to let it go. I think AI is going to go the same way. It might not be the first, to your point, but somebody's going to get there and get enough of a stranglehold on it to stay in the game for a long time. And I'd rather that be an American company than any other company. So,
Sure.
Bill Burr and Howie Mandel. Quick background on this.
What is this about?
Bill Burr supposedly, maybe, but almost definitely is half brothers with Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, they look exactly alike.
I didn't see that coming.
This is a rumor that's been going on around for a while. Billy Corgan went on some show, I don't remember which one, and he shared the story about his mother talking about, don't you find it odd that you look a lot like Bill Burr, the comedian? I think he's your half brother. It was basically how Billy Corgan told the story at first.
Which is weird, because they don't look alike except for the bald head.
I will give you that, but if you look at the two of them closely, you could kind of, the bald head helps a lot. The bald head is going to be 80%.
If one of them wasn't bald, I feel like they wouldn't look even close to similar.
Yeah, but if you look at their eyes a little and their like bone structure, it's kind of, I see it. I do see it a little bit.
I do not see it.
Anyway, Bill Burr goes on Howie Mandel, and who does Howie Mandel have come walking in but Billy Corgan? And Billy Corgan sits down, and Bill Burr is like, oh my God. He's like, do we have to do this? And even past the comment of like, we should edit this out. Like, clearly he played along, but you could tell he was pissed off. Like, he did not want to be there during this whole thing. And even said to Billy Corgan, like, can you stop telling that story? Like, nobody.
Is it true or?
Well, Burr basically confirmed that his dad was a free agent, was kind of out there and doing God knows what behind his mother's back.
Uh-huh.
So they're not 100% sure. But again, whatever Billy Corgan's mom knew she told him, and whatever Burr knows about his own father, like kind of leads to that direction. Because you could tell he didn't want to get into it. So clearly it was more than a possibility. And if you watch it, I don't have a clip
but Billy Corgan didn't seem to care.
Billy Corgan didn't seem to care.
Okay.
But Bill Burr was more like, I don't want to get into this personal bullshit, like this is not for, and he like I said, he went with it, but you could tell he was fucking pissed. And that he didn't want to have any part of this whole fucking thing.
Oh, but it's comedy. A comedy is supposed to be, everything's a joke and you can laugh at everything. What's the problem?
Yeah. Well, I wonder if he was more wanted to keep it personal.
It's not funny. What?
Or I wonder if he was more pissed that he couldn't make it, or he didn't have any material on it.
Maybe.
So it could have been that.
Could have been.
So.
Hey, smash your pumpkin. All
right. Me and the Tonight guy all of a sudden fucking share a family tree.
Spinal Rage might be your brother.
Yours is good. Mine is crossing too much into Leno. I like where you're going.
You do have a little Leno twist on yours.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, it might be my brother, right? I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, give me my brother.
Speaking of which, did anybody check on Jay Leno while I was gone to make sure he's still alive? Because he might be fucking dead. He might be in a.
Did he fall down a mountain or something?
No, I fell down a mountain. He fell off a motorcycle. He had a car blow up on him. The whole fucking somebody's trying to whack that poor bastard, and nobody seems to be looking out for him. Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, where the hell were we, Frank? We were gone for a long time. My goodness, Jesus.
I blame J-Sabs.
Me too.
It's always my fault.
Yeah.
So where were we? What the hell happened?
So, I don't know how much of this story really to tell. I probably shouldn't be telling any of this because it's partially not my story. And I didn't
told some of it on Discord.
I did. I told the Discord people because I love the Discord people. I feel like those are our closest friends that have gathered on Discord.
What's Discord?
So anybody who wants to join us, the link is down below on YouTube. You can join our Discord conversation. It's basically this, but outside of this. It's the conversation sometimes continues up to different things.
So it's this, but outside of this.
You want to take this and add that. But this cannot be disturbed.
No, it cannot be. Yeah, so I told the Discord people because I love the Discord people, and I felt like I owed them an explanation. But we missed essentially a week and a half's worth of shows because my father had a really bad accident. And I had to rush and attend to him. And it was one of those really weird real life moments, that kind of fucks you up a little bit, no matter how hard you try, So, again, I don't want to tell all of it because I haven't spoken to him about this. And nor my mother. So I want to kind of keep a little bit of privacy for their sake.
Wait, is it because you caught him stuck the accident was him. He got stuck in another woman.
Yeah, he's a big
And you
swinger.
don't want your mom to know. Oop.
Yeah, that was it. That's definitely it. We did have a weird swinger conversation down there, though.
That you're willing to share, but
I could share that part, yeah. Anyway, long story short, I'm sitting here in the studio 2 Wednesdays ago, and prepping the show, getting ready, and a text message comes across. We have like a family chat going, and a text message comes across. It's very odd. And Cuddles comes like running up, and she's like, what is this? And it's my mother, who's like, my mother is essentially texting our family chat, took him to the x-ray, and I don't know where he is now. I'm starting to get worried. That was the text message.
What?
So
this was the first communication about this that you got. They took him to the x-ray, and I don't know where he is.
That's
I'm
weird.
starting to get worried. Yeah. So I read that, and I get that feeling deep in my gut, and I'm like, I don't think this is good. So I call her up immediately, and I said, what's going on? And she said, Daddy fell, and we're at the hospital, and we're waiting back, to hear how he's doing. So I go, okay, what happened? She tells me the story, and it sounds bad, but it doesn't sound horrible, And so I go, okay, call me back, find out what's going on, call me back. So I wind up calling her back in like 45 minutes, an hour. What's happening now? Because they got to send him for a CT scan. He's bleeding from his ear. And they got to just check and make sure of everything. Okay, fine. Wait another hour. Now speak to her again. Now she's upset. So I'm like, and I don't know if you know this, but calling your mom and hearing her cry, not great.
It's not great.
Yeah. So, essentially, I mean, I could tell you what happened. It doesn't, people are asking, I could tell you what happened. It doesn't, golf car accident. That's pretty funny. Remember the Village's golf cart thing that we showed and the one woman flew out?
You know what I'm picturing?
Oh, God.
Remember Seinfeld Remember Seinfeld when they're chasing him on the Rascal?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, he was doing something, around the house, and he fell backwards and he hit his head pretty bad. But, again, we're back in Wednesday. So, I'm getting little updates from my mother. So I call her back, and now she's upset. But I can hear my father talking in the background, and I'm going, is he talking? Is he? Yeah, he's talking. He's joking around. Okay. All right.
Showing the nurses his penis.
Yeah, that old gag,
Yeah.
Check my pulse over here, nurse, that kind of shit.
Right.
And then I think I don't even remember. I think I sent something out canceling the show that night. And, because I'm like, I just want to be around. I just remember saying that to Cuddles. Like, I can't do this right now because I feel like I need to just kind of be there for my mom and call her and make sure everything is okay. So as the night progresses, he's getting worse. He's starting to vomit. His head is killing him. Obviously, they can't get the blood to stop from the ear. So they put him in the, they got him in the ER, and they do a CAT scan, and they find out that he's got a really bad fracture. It's called a basal skull fracture, if people are curious about it. And that he's bleeding from the brain pretty bad.
Ugh.
Okay. So I go, okay. So now my mother's at the hospital. She's by herself, right? She doesn't really, she doesn't drive. My father drives everywhere. So she's got to, get home and all that. So I'm worried about her. I'm worried about what's going on with him. Then they tell us it's pretty severe and that they need to move him to a hospital that specializes in this kind of thing. So, okay, fine. So they start that process. Now I'm like, I don't know. Should I go down there? They're down in Florida. We're up here in New York. I don't know what's going on. So I call my mother back. Like another hour passes. Call her back to get an update. After she told me that they're moving him to a hospital, she answers the phone, hysterical crying. Hysterical. And my heart stops because I'm ready for her to tell me He died because she couldn't get words out. It was that bad. And she tells me that they're loading him up right now. They're going to take him to the next hospital, which is like
everybody wondering, by the way, he's okay. He's okay right now.
He's okay right now. Yeah, he's okay right now. Okay. They're going to take him to the hospital. He's, it's a half hour away. She wants to go with him. She doesn't know how she's going to get back. She's got to still get home. I think at this point it's 9:00 at night. They're giving him something to deal with the nausea and everything, but that's not a good sign. I mean, anybody who gets a concussion knows if you start to vomit, not a good sign. And so this is where we're at. So now I'm kind of like, I just went from, she's about to tell me my father's dead to, okay, he's not dead, but things aren't looking good. So I'll fast forward some of the details, Frank, but like 6 phone calls later with doctors now, because now I'm talking with the doctors because this is all too much for my mother to handle. I get a doctor around 1 o'clock in the morning, and he's laying everything out for me. And I said to him, in fact, his name was Dr. Wallace. I said to him,
sounds hot. Go ahead.
I said, doctor, I'm in New York. They're obviously down there. How bad is this? Because I need to know if I should come. I'm feeling right now like I'm going to book a flight down there. If you're telling me this is okay, that's an overreaction, then I won't. But if you're telling me that this is really bad, like, do you know what the outcome is and whatever? And he says to me, it's a 50-50 outcome. He has to stop bleeding. If he doesn't, we have to do surgery to relieve the pressure. And that always doesn't work.
That always doesn't work.
He goes, that it doesn't always work, because it's not like they're fixing it. They're just releasing the amount of liquid and blood and everything in there. And he goes, it's a 50-50 chance he'll survive this. This is what he tells me at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, fuck. Okay. So I book a flight. First one I could get out the next morning. Text my sister. She gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning, books the same flight. The two of us go down there on Thursday. And it's weird because I went to bed and I remember like just thinking to myself, like, God, is this how my father's story ends with like this?
God.
Because I'm expecting, I'm at that point, I'm hoping, I just hope he's alive by the time I get there. Was my hope, is that I hope I could just hug him, even if he's not awake or whatever. I hope I could just hug him one last time, right? So my sister and I, we fly down there, and I'll tell you, it was the longest 12 hours of my life, whatever you want to call it, because the first flight I could get was 11 o'clock in the morning. So I woke up the next day and had to just wait. I called the doctor. They're like, he went for another CAT scan because they were scanning his brain like every hour now, basically to see if the bleeding continued. Because essentially what happens when you hit your head like this is you start bleeding like any other bruise. And at some point you hope that platelets and whatever kick in and they stop. And then you start the healing process, right? So they were waiting for him to stop bleeding. And the reason why he started to vomit, whatever, is because the pressure was building in his head. So they transfer him to the new hospital, and I'm calling the new hospital for updates, and they're giving us updates. And then we get to the morning, and they're like, "We'll call you back." The nurse, his nurse is like out on whatever. So my mother calls, and she gets the same little bit of runaround. So now I'm like really getting concerned. But we're hopping on the flight. My mother doesn't know I'm coming because the first thing she says to me now, because remember, she didn't want us to know at all. She thought that she was texting my aunt in that original text and didn't realize she was texting the family thread instead of just my aunt directly. So she had no intention of sharing any of this with us.
Jeez.
Not knowing how serious it all was, And, so anyway, and the first thing she says to me, and by the way, my father in the background on Wednesday night is going, "Yes, I'm fine. No reason to come here. I'm fine."
Yeah.
Had no idea how bad it was really going to be. So Thursday, now I'm getting on a flight, 11 o'clock flight. I'm at the airport at 9. Get on the plane. Of course, something's not working on the plane. So we sit out on the tarmac for an hour.
Oh.
The plane finally takes off. The plane is full. So my little like overhead bag now has to be checked. So that's another thing I have to wait for at the gate when I get to Orlando. Big long line for the car rental and everything because we rented a car just to get to the thing. So we end up not even getting to the hospital until 6 o'clock Thursday night with no idea what to expect because we haven't gotten a fucking update, you know. And then as we get into Orlando, one of my father's closest friends, because my father's a lucky guy. He was blessed enough. 2 of his oldest friends moved to the same retirement community just so they could all be together again.
Yeah, be together as in have sex with each other's wives.
You stop it. One of them unfortunately just passed. God bless his soul. Louis was a great guy. But the other one is still there. So he's there. And then my mother says somebody came into his room and said, Dad's going to go home. And I'm like, we didn't go from almost dead to going home the next day. Turned out that wasn't true. But they still released him from the hospital way earlier than what we were all ready for. Because when we got to see him Thursday, he was actually in great shape. You know, he looked good. The bleeding had stopped. Everything looked like it was going to be okay. We went home Thursday night, went back to my mother's house Thursday night thinking like, oh, this is, you know, it's going to be fine. And we were all thrilled, you know, because it's obviously like I said, we were going there. I'm hoping I can get one last hug in. And we walk into the room. He's like, hey, you know, he's like looking like, hey. So Friday we go back. And again, I don't want to get into too much details, but he was very disoriented on Friday. You know, knew who we all were and everything like that, but was kind of struggling to do the things that he normally would do or say, be able to express, you know. So he was having a little trouble with that. So we talked to a doctor and whatever. And let me tell you something. So I said, the nurse comes around and goes, we're thinking about releasing him because they made him like walk up and down the hallway and physically he could walk, you know. And so they're like, yeah, you know, all his vitals. And I said to the woman, I go, I have news for you. That guy is not leaving this fucking building today. It's not happening. And I go, I haven't spoken to one doctor since I got here. You know, I didn't see anybody Thursday night. Now we're here Friday afternoon and you're telling me he's coming home. I'm like, it's not fucking happening. I better see somebody like up here with a degree. Okay. The woman was by the way, I forgot I wasn't in New York for a second because I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind if you and she's like, all right, I'll get you somebody. Like she was like, there's no problems here. And I didn't realize I wasn't in Staten Island anymore.
You're ready to start throwing fists.
Dude, you have no idea. So this doctor comes up. Dr. Moore was his name. And I'm gracious to Dr. Moore in Ocala Hospital. But this handsome as hell motherfucker shows up.
Ooh,
Frank, this guy was so good looking.
I was gonna say he sounds hot.
Did it move?
What's his first name?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure
Charming.
This guy was right. If he would have been cast as a prince in Disney World.
I am Lance Moore. Dr. Lance Moore.
Like my sister was equally as upset as I was. And then as soon as this guy came up, started batting his eyes, she was just melt. Like she was just.
Oh yeah, I've been
Everything's going to be fine.
We're leaving I'm going to fast forward in the story a little bit. Then I'm going to come back to Dr. Moore. But we're leaving the hospital that night. And my mother goes, you know that Dr. Moore was really good. And I'm like, you're just saying this because he's good looking. Like he was, it drove me up a fucking wall.
Wait, like he's a neurologist?
Yep.
Okay.
So was he good? What did he say?
By the way, Sleuth Janine, there's 2 Dr. Moores that are both in neurology down there. One's older, one's younger. He's the younger one.
I'm assuming
what are the odds of that?
Is not Homer.
It's not Homer. He looked like fucking Christian Bale. Like, you know how Christian Bale has that like scowl to him? And he's like, you have to understand something with brain injuries. And he's looking, and I'm looking at his face, and I look at my sister, and she's like, You know, I can hear Dreamweaver in her head playing. That's how good looking. That's how loud the song in her head was.
Pretty good.
And I didn't bring this up with my sister too, but when my mother said that comment later, I was like, I knew it. I knew that fucking guy was really good looking, and everybody was just going to listen to everything he had to say.
Guy knows what he's talking about. He's good looking, obviously. We're just going to listen to whatever he says.
I almost flipped the chart. It was like, do you have an ugly doctor here who could fucking, you know?
Who's not just getting by on his looks.
Because that's in my mind, I go, oh, nobody's ever wanted to tell this guy no. He probably had shitty grades going to fucking, you know, doctor school or whatever they call it. And they just
medical school, doctor school. Oh, man.
I'm like, I want to see your doctor school transcript. He was like, settle down, ugly. He's like, let me fucking talk to the people. So
you'd be under a bridge somewhere. Damn it.
So he was just very just like Noah Wiley fucking, you know, just good looking. I was looking at him, I go, Ocala's certainly not a big air, you know, not like a glitzy like New York City or Chicago. I go, but this guy must be fucking laying some pipe in this. I mean, a neurologist in like, he just must be swimming in women. Fucking
you know his first name at all? No.
Banger.
I think I do.
Banger Moore.
Fucking Dr. Moore. Anyway, Dr. Moore was very nice and gracious and took us through the ups and downs of what this is. And long story short, my father got released from the hospital eventually. And
Friday night.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the time. What are you putting together? A fucking case over there? Can't you let me tell the story?
I'm trying to figure out his plans, what he does. Go ahead.
So he got released Friday night, and Friday at 5 he got released. Friday at 6 my sister was out on a date with Dr. Moore. The whole fucking thing was very
way to go.
And then at Friday at 9 my mother was out on a date with Dr. Moore.
Probably.
It was really upsetting, the whole thing.
Dr. Moore's making the rounds.
Yeah, he is. More ways than one. My father eventually gets released, and we take him home. The unsettling thing is, with a brain injury, it's like a muscle, like anything else. It needs time to heal. So, you know, like I was talking to Cuddles, and I'm like, you know, they're letting him go. And she was like, this is very soon after a serious brain injury that almost took his life, you know? And, you know, kind of what they were saying was, as long as he can physically walk around,
wasn't the back, was it cracked? You said the skull was fractured?
Skull fracture going from the back all the way to the front.
They didn't have to repair that in some way?
He was bleeding he hit his head so hard in the back. The back is what made contact. He hit his head so hard in the back, the front of his head was fucking bleeding.
Oh.
Because I'm on the phone.
Was it bleeding on the outside or on the inside?
No, you can't see it. You can't.
Yeah.
You can see the outside where he hit his head. That you can see. That's bruised. You couldn't see anything on the front here because the nurse was like, you know, she's like, put your finger on your temple and move it like more over your eyes. And I'm like, why did I have to put my finger here? Why couldn't you just say right over your eye? Anyway, you know, she's like, that's where it is. That's where the second, you know, bruise is and everything. He got fucking banged up from seemingly nothing, but
they didn't have to go. I mean, they didn't have to go in and repair anything.
You think that, right? You think like, hey, let's get this 100% before we leave here. But what we learned is that 100% takes time. I mean, it takes a lot of time, you know? So it's like, if you know, the way it was kind of it wasn't explained to us this way, but I'll give you the shorthand version of it. If they were to keep him, that's bad. That means he's not functioning, can't take care of himself, you know, can't do this or that. If they're willing to send him home, that means he can walk, he can, you know, use the bathroom, he can, you know, take a shower, you know, all those
his
basic
speech
things.
is okay, and his vision, his hearing,
vision, everything. He, you know, he's you know, okay, so here's the other thing. So they tell us if he vomits, call 911. If he all of a sudden has a thunderclap of a headache out of nowhere, call 911. If he suddenly loses function of an arm or a leg, can't move it, call 911. So these are what they told us.
He's allowed to lie on it and sleep on it, and you have a special pillow. I mean, what kind of recovery? Like, what did he have to do?
So no pressure on the head, which is like he can't bend down to pick things up.
How does he sleep? How does he lie down?
So he's in the hospital. He was sleeping on a bed, so he was up a little bit. At home, he doesn't. But we kind of like propped up some pillows, and that was good enough. It's like you can be even. Your head could be up a little bit. It's probably great. Your head just can't be down, like below
your heart, I guess.
Right. So there's that. Like I said, he can't bend over, pick anything up. He can't lift anything heavy, which today he lifted something that he shouldn't have off the ground, which I was pretty upset about. He can't drive just yet. He's not supposed to be. The doctors got him walking around at home. There, he's got PT, OT, he's got nurses, which is why I was gone for so long. I had to get everything set up for him before I left. Because I wanted to make sure that he was totally okay.
Right.
But in those first couple of days, they're like, if he has a thunderclap of a headache, it's bad. And I would talk to him and I'd be like, how are you feeling? He's like, yeah, my head hurts. I'm like, is it a thunderclap of a headache? And he's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, is he being brave?
I wasn't sure, and then he's like, they put him on anti-seizure medication because, you can't have a seizure. Not that he was, prone to seizures, but you just can't have one in the state.
Because you don't want to hit your head again.
Right. So they put him on anti-seizure medication. He had to take that medication for a week. So the first couple of days he's home, he's like, I'm dizzy. I'm a little nauseous. And I'm like, are you throwing up because you're sick? It's getting worse? Or are you just,
the medication?
So, because we go to find out the anti-seizure medicine causes nausea and vomiting. So we're like, well, what is it? So yeah, it's like, it's a nightmare. Like the limb one was the easiest one. I'm like, go like this. Can you do this and move your leg? And he's doing that. I'm like, okay, great. But every other time, like there was one time before I left where I'm like, I think we have to call, and it becomes one of those things where you're like, I'm not going to call 911, but I'm going to call the doctor just to double check and see how I'm feeling. And then I didn't get through to the doctor right away. And I thought to myself, this isn't bad. He's a little nauseous and whatever, but he's not vomiting profusely, which is like what they said it would happen if this brain bleeding started up again. So it's a very unsettling thing now. And somebody just said, okay, here, Trista, thank you for sharing your story, Trista. She says, my dad had a brain injury. The brain takes the longest time to heal and can take 1 to 2 years to heal. Yeah. So essentially, that's kind of what you're dealing with, which is why they're like, you can go ahead and go, because nobody's going to keep you in the hospital for 3 months to a year,
right?
Especially when you can function. So if he couldn't, he'd have to go somewhere else. But basically, they just send you home and you're like, just heal from home.
I get that the brain has to heal and you can't like bandage it or anything, but the skull, they didn't like put I don't know, like they didn't.
No, nothing.
It's nothing. They're right. They're together. They're just going to close up. I guess you can't put a caster on your head, I guess. So
right. And the skull will heal in 4 to 6 weeks because the doctor said, Dr. Goodlooking was like, the skull's going to heal in 4 to 6 weeks. That's not going to be a problem. He's like, it's the brain, which is going to take a lot longer than that to heal. So, because then I'm like, because they're like giving us his release stuff, and I'm like, okay, do we go? Like when's? Because he was going for like a CAT scan, like it was regimented, like he's got to go because they were measuring that bruise because if it kept getting bigger, no good. So he was going so often, and I'm like, when's the next CAT? Like, do we take him next week? And the guy goes, no, 2 months. And I go, what? 2 months? Are you fucking kidding me? Again, like I'm getting all crazy, but they're like, what do you want to do? It's not, if he starts to bleed again, you're going to know, and if he doesn't, it's just taking the time for it to heal. So it's this really uncomfortable thing of like, now we just sit around and wait, and as they told us, they're like, there's going to be good days and there's going to be not so good days. The hope is that continues to fluctuate. That fluctuation happens, but continues on an upward, trend. So we're kind of in that thing now, and I'm like, listen, like I said this to my mom, and I worry about my mother too. It was a lot for my mom to go through. Like the two of them have been married for, if I was a great son, I would know, but a really long time. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like, I don't think it's 50, but it's definitely over 40. I seem to remember a 40th anniversary party. It was a shock to her, and like it was hard to tell her at first, like, no, he almost died. Like, I don't think you understand, like, because it was initially like Thursday went so well, and it was kind of like, oh, you guys are overreacting. Like, she was gracious and grateful that we were there, but there was this air of like, see, it's fine, it's going to be fine. And it's like, I think
then these other things kept coming up, and it's like, well, then you got, no, this is a problem. Now this is a problem.
Right.
And all right, you just got to keep an eye on it, and your mom is going to keep an eye. Your dad hopefully is not going to. I don't want him to be like stubborn.
Well, but you know how dads are, an Italian dad. Yeah, exactly. He's stubborn. He's like, I could pick this up.
I want to go drive to the store, and it's like,
and he's been great. 98% of him has been great. Like, there's just a couple of times where he's like, he's not supposed to get up and walk around without anybody near him. And he's just like, I gotta go to the bathroom. He just goes to the bathroom. And it's like, all right, but just say, hey, I'm going to the bathroom. So we could be, so it's a lot of me kind of like following him around the first couple of days. But, and then there's that other thing of like, physically you're getting stronger and you feel like this is fine, but it's also like, you don't go walking around places that you're not 100% familiar with,
Right. Because it's not always about, your legs are fine, but it's your brain that has to control your legs. And who knows, you don't want to be, I feel 100%. And then your brain says, well, hold on. And then it just throws your legs out. It's like, so
yeah,
it's got to, you could feel 100% in the moment, but you don't want to upset anything.
Right. Because that's the other thing. It's like, he's got to go for physical therapy. He's got to, and you're like, he didn't hurt his legs. He can fucking walk, but he needed, he needs it. He's not as, it's an odd thing, but you're not as strong as you think you would be coming off of, it's like, again, you didn't hurt your leg, you hurt your head, but it makes,
that's not nothing. I mean, he'll be, thank goodness they're looking at it and they're keeping an eye on him, and you got the Dr. Handsome seems to know what he's talking about there. And
that fucking guy. I mean, he was like the little scowl, like he's like, And I was just like, nobody fights with you. I bet you nobody ever objects to anything you have to say ever. And he walked into the room, and my sister and I spoke with him before he got into the room. Then he walked into the room to talk to my father and evaluate him, and then talk to my mother. And I could just see my mom, like, he's just a good looking guy, he's just a fucking, I was so mad, but then I'm like, I get it. When a hot chick talks, I tend to pay more attention, than some of our grammar school teachers, they weren't that easy on the eyes, I goes off on them all the time. So there was, that part of it, but it was, I had like a couple of times I had to tell my mom, like afterwards, I'm like, I'm like, and I feel for her. I was like, Mom, I don't know if you really understand this. I'm like, but he was like
it was serious.
Yeah, this was really serious, and she said it too. And even myself, I fell for it too, seeing him on Thursday and how good a shape he was in. Already knowing what the doctor in the ER had told me, after I had spent 12 hours with my own thoughts and researching everything that this was and what it entailed, like it felt like a grim outcome. And even knowing all of that, I still fell for it on Thursday, where I was like, oh, this is actually going to be quicker. Yeah, this is going to be quicker than we thought. But it's like, it's not. And he's got a process to go ahead of him. Like, I've been talking to him every day, and you could just tell, like, he's all there. He's has some conversations, but sometimes it's like, he doesn't grab a word as quick as you want him to, or he's a hard time remembering like an easy word, and that's all part of this.
It happens to me now, but okay.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and it happened to him before this too, you know.
Oh.
So it's like, I mean, because you get all, I mean, like I can't remember. Like, all my stuff is well documented on this podcast. Of how many times I can't remember something.
Yeah, you know, like that thing over there, right? With the thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
That guy with the thing.
A bizarre, off the cuff, weird, you know, just random Seinfeld quote locked in like that.
You got that, but
What I went into the kitchen for, no fucking clue, you know.
Right. Your kids' names.
Yeah. But young Sebastian and Carla, they're on it. They're fine. They're in the other room sleeping. Frank, they're just
good kid.
Yeah. So, but that, you know, so there was that whole thing, and plus I was gone for like a really long time. So the kids are like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "It's time."
They don't know anything, right?
Yeah, I told them. I said, "It's time to let me give you a little concept called Two Christmases." That's where Dad's off finding a new life.
Yeah, I got my Florida family.
Yeah. So it was a real trying thing, but like I feel blessed and lucky as shit to still be talking with him. And you know, he's already talking about taking trip because he can't drive right now. He can't fly for a while. You know, I don't know, like that kind of shit.
The air pressure in a plane, yeah. That's probably not great for that.
I saw. I was watching this. Ben Lovejoy was a hockey player. Gets into a fight. Right, it was one of those things where they follow the team for 24 hours, like it was a social media post. This is years ago. Ben Lovejoy gets into a fight during a game. He leaves. You know, he's a little bruised. You can see like a little bruising here. It's a little whatever. They take off. He lands because of the air pressure. His face was like 3 times the size. It was like huge. You don't realize that swelling and everything, it gets, you know, exacerbated by the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure is going to mess with all that shit.
Yeah, so he can't fly for a while. And, you know, they have, obviously, they're retired. So they have a million trips planned and everything and coming here for Easter. And the kids got stuff coming up in May. So we're shooting.
We got to go down there now.
We're shooting for May. Hopefully, he could be doing everything. He's making great progress physically, which is also like worrisome because you're like, on one hand, you're like, fuck yeah, like you could do it. And on the other hand, you're like, don't do it too much of it.
Slow the hell down.
Yeah.
Step by baby steps, because this is like a week old, this thing. So
yeah.
Relax a little bit. Take some time and heal.
It is. It really, like, we're coming up on, it'll be 2 weeks this Wednesday, and it's like, and it's weird because the PT nurse came and, we were like, walking around and everything, and she's like, maybe 3 or 4 weeks we'll go take a walk outside. And then yesterday she took him for a walk outside. So I'm like, that's, again, you're like excited for the progress, and then you're also worried, like, are you sure he's ready, to be doing this kind of a thing,
right.
Because it's a little.
I mean, does he have like bandages? Does he have to wear anything? It's all underneath the skin.
Yeah, it just looks like a huge bruise. It doesn't. It's weird. It's not scabby at all. He wasn't ever bleeding externally from his head. Never. Wow. He was bleeding from his ear though, and they were like, we don't know, but it turns out that when you fracture your skull like that and you have that much bleeding, it's got nowhere to go sometimes. There's so much of it, it's got nowhere to go, but out through the ear.
Man.
So yeah, it was rough. But like I was saying, like I went to bed that night thinking like this is it. Like I thinking about the last time I hugged him and the last time I spoke to him, and I'm like, now this is his story. God, I hope he, you go to bed and you start to think all these crazy things to yourself, and that first 12 hours was so fucking long, and it's like, I don't know if he understands it. So he went to his regular doctor, because he had to see, had to go for a follow-up, and his regular doctor told him, like, you're lucky to be alive. Don't fuck around with this, because you're lucky to be alive, so don't go running around and doing all these crazy things now. So it's a balancing act of like, I'm proud of you, Dad. You're so strong. You fucking fought your way through this, because he's a strong guy, and he had to put up with me as a child. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah, you're a dick.
You know how good Frank looked when before I met him, and now look at the stress I've caused this man, like his whole fucking life.
Right.
So imagine what I did to my father. But you know, he's just it's like great to see, but I don't think he comprehends that he almost checked out. And I kind of like told him a couple of times, like, you know, this is really serious. You really, you know, you almost did not make it, but because you're strong, you made it. And to him, he's
I
like,
mean, is he in pain? Is it?
he had a fair amount of like, okay, you talk about care, right? The medicines they sent him home with was the seizure medication, and a couple other things that, you know, they don't want the like stool softener, stuff like that, because you can't like, you know,
Right,
like
right.
no questions asked. Like you're getting stool softener, you know, and if you don't take a shit in 2 days, you're getting the stuff that makes you take a shit. So they gave us those two things too. Required to take the stool softener, not the other one, and then Tylenol, because you can't take an aspirin. You can't have a blood thinner. That's not good for you.
Yeah,
So
the bleeding has to thicken.
So Tylenol,
Yeah.
375 milligrams of Tylenol. That's it. You got a headache, you could take 2 Tylenol.
Yeah.
You know, you could take 650. That's it. You know, so like those are the meds. And so you're like, you know, how you doing, Dad? My head's hurting a little bit. Okay, you want to take a Tylenol? No. All right. So you're like, okay, can't be that bad. And then there's times where he was like, yeah, give me the Tylenol. And you're like, all right, how bad, how bad, and again, like you said before, you being tough, you being strong for
Right.
everybody, it's like one of those, and it's like that first moment where you're like, now you're caring for him and you're like, don't.
I'd be like, it hurts. Give me the fucking Tylenol.
Yeah.
Or I'd be, I would say, I'm in pain, whatever it is. That's a generational thing, I guess.
One day, the guy, because I mean, he's almost 80, 78. He's like, my fucking, because he hurt his back doing this too. And one day he was like, I need the Tylenol. Like, is your head hurt? And he goes, no, my fucking back is killing me. Yeah. So we were like, all right, yeah, take it. Here, that's what it's there for.
You got a nice comfy chair, like a recliner, maybe, get them.
Yeah.
Nice and comfortable.
Oh, those first couple of days, man, they were killing me, because you just look at him and he's just like moving. And I'm like, is your back? He's like, yes, my back is fucking killing me. Yeah. He's like moving to adjust, and he can't move. He can't strain or his head, so he's trying to like move slowly and everything. But yeah, there was like a steady pressure, and like you could tell, like he couldn't hear really out of the ear that he was bleeding out of until like 4 days in, when he was finally like, oh, I got, I'm starting, I can hear, but I can hear a little bit. Like he didn't notice it until it was better.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I can hear better now,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a real fucking thing, and it's still going on. Like we're not done with it. It's weird to say it's, another 2-3 months.
Well, but I mean, is it safe to say, knock on wood here, the worst is behind you?
Yeah, pretty much. Barring something, obviously if he falls again, not good.
Right.
And the doctor told him that. Doctor goes, you take another hit. That's it. It's like, you're not right now, not while you're still, healing. It's like, it's not going to be good, so that's the most important thing, is that he doesn't fall again, and then like the nurse is out, that was the other, like I wanted to shake the shit out of the nurse when I heard she took him outside. I was like, what the fuck you
ever see these things? I don't know if they're available. I've seen videos. These people wear these vests and they fall over and it's like an airbag.
Really?
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
They've tested it out with like like you see there's like a 30-second ad or whatever, and the guy wears it, he falls over and it just inflates and it surrounds his head and his body. Yeah. And he hits the ground and he's fine. They did it with like a vase and they threw it on the ground. It's like they tipped it over. The thing inflated because it went off center and it just surrounded him. So might be. I don't know if that exists as a commercial. If you could buy it anywhere, but I've seen that video a million times.
I'd love to get in that. That would be, because that's the thing. You just want to wrap them up in bubble wrap, but you can,
Yeah, but this is a vest. You just throw it on and forget it.
I'll tell you something too. He loves a fucking vest. I don't know if you've noticed that. The guy he loves wearing a vest.
You don't even tell him what it is. You got him a new vest.
It's true. He does the dad thing too. He's like, keeps your core warm. It's like, keeps your core warm. That's what he says the same thing every episode. It just keeps you warm.
Yeah, you gotta keep the heat in. You gotta trap it in. Yeah.
He's like, and then I can move. There's no restriction. I'm free to, and I'm like, Dad, you come here and you tinker with everything. I'm like, you need, he's like, I'm cutting boxes in the garage. He's like, I need that motion, but it keeps the core warm. All right. Of course. Whatever makes you happy.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a to do, to say the least. And you're still in it. It's not like, until you hear a doctor go, all right, you're good, and that's not coming for another 2-3 months. He go, like I said, he doesn't go for his follow-up CAT scan until March, and even that, you're like, can't you do it fucking sooner? And they're like, for what? Yeah. It just takes that long for it to heal. Like,
you got to be patient with this one.
Yeah, like Trista, Trista was, and by the way, Trista's nailing all these things. Shock and denial. It was a part of that too. Like my mom was in there. Like I give her so much credit, man. She's a fucking trooper. Don't fuck around with an old Italian woman. They have a strength up to them like you wouldn't believe. I mean, most moms. I don't know why I made it an Italian thing. It's a little racist. But anyway, they do. But even with that, like there was a couple times where her and I were just, and I kind of had to like lay it out for her, like, because again, he's in there. He's like, I gotta pee. He gets up, goes to pee. He's this and that. Nurse comes, do this. He's doing it. And you're like, all right, we're getting all A's right now. It doesn't mean you graduated college yet. You got
to go the whole semester.
You got to go, and all 4 years. So it's like, there's a little bit of a long journey ahead. But
he's a tough guy.
It was better than the alternative. That's for fuck sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This was wasn't the greatest, but could have been way worse.
Kayla wants to know, where the fuck have you guys been? I was down getting a sex change operation.
Right.
In fact,
now he's a man.
So much better than when I had. I'm so glad you cut me off.
You got it anytime.
Yeah, mine was, I had a second change operation and then changed back. Not that funny. That was funny. That was good. I finally got balls. So I got real balls. It was amazing. And not enough balls to take on Dr. Bangermore, good looking MD.
That guy.
That fucking guy. I can't. I swear to God. So I'm down there for a long time, and like whatever, 4 days in, 5 days in, I go, how many women do you think that doctor had between the time I met him and now? And I'm like, probably 8. And I'm like, it probably had to be 8. He's probably doing 2 a day. He's like he does shifts at the hospital. He does doubles. He probably has a date in the afternoon and a date at night to catch up.
This guy.
Fucking good looking guy.
A good looking neuro son of a.
Yeah. When I tell you, man, Christian Bale looked exactly like Christian Bale. The scowl and everything, just
you get lost in his eyes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was the only one who could ask him. He was talking. I look around, my mother and my sister, they're drooling. I look at my father, he's drooling for different reasons. And I'm the only one there who's of right sound in mind to be like, are you sure, doctor? He looked at me like nobody's ever questioned me before. This is a new one, ugly. Let me sketch it out for you. That's this. So
oh boy.
I could go on and on, but that's basically the whole
the story.
That's the story. Yeah. You ever have a scare with your parents? Your parents are relatively healthy. They're unbelievable.
Relatively, sure. The little scares here and there. This one fell. This one, little things. Nothing like this.
Yeah, this was weird because it was so sudden. It was so quick. And then I'm telling you, man, when I talked to my mom that night on Wednesday and she was crying, I thought she was just going to be like, he died. That's it. He didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then it's weird how a split second could be literally a month. Because you start to brace yourself for it. And then you start to think, okay, I got to fly down. I got to consult her. We got to start making arrangements. We got to start doing the whole, it's like weird how you just snap into that.
Right.
And then for there to be like a little pillar of hope. And then you're like, you find yourself going, and like I said, I talk to doctors every hour on the hour for like 4 straight hours that first night.
Yeah.
And in the 4th time, I was still like, how serious? Like, is this, should I be coming there? Is this like, is he not going to make it? Like, and it's weird that you almost don't even want to ask that question because you don't want to hear the answer.
Yeah. It's like, should I be preparing myself here? What are we talking about? It's I can't even.
And I'll tell you what the other weird, I know we got to go. I'm sorry. I keep dragging on. You book a flight. Like, every time I've traveled, I'm like excited. I'm like, it's vacation, especially going down to Orlando. Cause every time you go there, you're looking forward to something. I'm like,
the weather, the scenery, anything.
I'm like, this airport is ruined I'm like, this is fucking terrible, like
the next time you go, it'll be a celebration, it'll be a holiday, it'll be nice. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it will be, which is great. But that was that was a fucking scary sight, man. Don't want to do that again.
No. Do not blame you for that.
No, didn't love it. Wouldn't recommend. Wouldn't recommend.
No. Can't recommend.
And then I started I'm like Friday, the first Friday, I was like, I could do a show on my phone. I was like, I think I could do it. And I'm like, it won't be as great a quality as this is, but we could do it.
You'll be in the lobby of the hospital. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's literally what I was gonna be. Yeah, I was like, I could do it from the hospital. Maybe when we get home. I don't know what time I'm going through all these things.
Like Dad, come on. Smile for everyone. What are you doing?
Get in here. We need the fucking. Let me get in the bed. This way we'll get the views. They were like,
right.
Oh, look at Ant's all fucked up.
Right. Exactly.
But a weird thing happened, which I didn't think could happen to me, which was feelings. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I can't. Like, even Wednesday when it was all happening, I was still here. I could have taken 30 minutes, 45 minutes not to do it. The thought of being on the air and not being able to take that phone call was horrifying.
Oh no. You got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of the family. You got to you got to take care of that stuff.
It just felt so strange to abandon this, and especially when there was like nights last week where I was like, I could be doing this. Like, once he was there and we were getting, people in to help him and everything. It was like a lot, but like the day I left,
everybody understands, dude. It's not
it just felt weird. And it's always this is always such a nice distraction for, us during the week. It's like, it's something to look forward to. It was weird to be like, I can't do it. It was a strange thing.
I understand, but
a lot of strange stuff. Like, okay, you want to know something funny? Last thing. We had to take every carpet up off the floor. Because my mom has hardwood floors, but she has like runners and little area rugs.
Oh, runners and stuff. Yeah, like you could trip over. Yeah,
everything had to come up. Everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
not rug, like if a room is carpet.
No. Just like area rugs, runners, things like that.
That makes sense.
They have this huge area rug in the living room. You barely have to lift your foot up off the ground by like this much.
Don't matter.
So when he came home, we didn't move that one because it has a coffee table. The couches are kind of on it. And when the PT nurse came, I go, this has been bugging me, since he came home. I'm like, should we move this rug? She goes, absolutely, get it out of here. She's like, get it out.
Yeah. So, you don't want any tripping hazards, smooth sailing from wherever he's got to be to wherever he's got to go.
It's crazy.
That makes sense.
But he's doing good. So we're grateful,
Absolutely.
We're certainly grateful. Like, Trista here in the comments was saying some things about her dad is in a similar situation. It sounds like her dad had a rough go of it. It sounds like my dad was a little more fortunate, a little luckier, and I'm grateful for that. Just gotta stick it out the rest of the way. That's it.
Hope your dad's okay, Trista.
Yeah, I hope your dad's okay, Trista. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And maybe we'll start a support group if you want to start a support group. DM
there you go.
I'm in it now. I'm ready to do it. All right, that's it. That's all I got, Frankie C. I don't know when we're going to announce the Golden AOA Hole Awards, but we'll do it soon. We'll leave it up there a little longer for everybody to vote on. go to the website, click on the blog, vote. Hopefully we can get a game back going this week. That'd be great to get Aaron C back in the mix.
Yeah, maybe Friday we'll have another game.
All right, sweet.
Pick up a copy of Oval that you wrote. Link in the description.
Link in the description. Thanks, Miss Justice, for posting a link to the voting there. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Show me potato salad. Maybe we should go now.